Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, this is your space to connect, learn, and grow alongside a community of trailblazing women who, just like you, they are making their mark in the world of business. From personal branding to powerhouse marketing, from leadership to lifestyle tips, we've got you covered. So get ready to ignite your passion, fuel your purpose, and unlock your potential with Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. Let's make this journey together and turn your entrepreneurial dreams into reality. Hey guys, welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. You know what? Today, and like always, we are going to be spotlighting an inspiring woman who's making waves in her industry, sharing her journey, and offering insight to help you thrive as an entrepreneurial. You know what? I'm your host, Angel. Most of you know that by now, but today we have a special guest who is the founder and owner of Prairie Hill Flower Company, where she's not only crafting stunning floral arrangements, go look at her website, to die for. She is also championing the local flower movement by using seasonal and local grown blooms that support environmental sustainability and community growth. Also, guys, get ready because she is going to inspire you with her beauty of flowers and designs. We want to welcome today Lisa Frahm. So thank you, Lisa, for being here. You're so amazing.
You're so welcome. I am honored to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so you actually on your website, tell us about that website because it is so gorgeous. I mean, I feel like I'm there actually walking through all the flowers with you. Explain all of that if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so glad that our website speaks to you. I get that comment all the time. And the crazy thing is, I actually designed it myself. I'm not, I have a background in design and we can talk about that later, but I wanted from the get-go, I've always wanted my business to be an experience, not just a business, not just something or someone that you purchase something through. I've wanted it to encapsulate people and bring them in and give them the experience. So I'm so glad that it does just that. We have met our goal for our website. I just wanted it to be beautiful. I wanted it to speak to people when they come on and are searching for flowers or searching through our workshop options. But, I've spent a lot of time in marketing and just financially capturing a lot of the essence of our farm and our flowers. And that has come back to us tenfold because we have video, we have photos that are just, they speak to everyone. And that is what I find draws people in.
Yeah, I mean, I live far away from you. I just want to come to your farm just to experience it
Yeah.
because of just seeing the experience that you actually present on your website.
Oh, well, thank you. That was the goal. And I get that comment a lot. Like, we just want to come to the farm. We want to see what it looks like. And it truly is beautiful. And I'm so glad that that is what it is. It is truly representing. So thank you.
Yes, and you do events, wedding. What all do you do? Tell us what all you do, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually started, we live on 10 acres outside of Parker, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. Yep. We moved here right before COVID. And one of the things that we talked about, something that people don't typically know about me, is I'm actually an architect. So that's my little surprise about me. So I'm an architect. We moved out to this, we bought this property. I designed the house, we built the house, and then COVID hit. And I've always loved to garden. I've always loved to grow things. And so we built this huge garden area during COVID because even though the stores were closed, they still would deliver materials. So Home Depot, some of the like the other stores would deliver materials out here. So we built this big garden area. And then it came to me, it was like, I could grow flowers out here. We have the perfect climate. We have issues with our weather, but I've always been a really great gardener. And so I started um, researching growing flowers, and there's an online flower farming school. Who knew? But I took that course and I literally just picked up and started this flower farm. And the interesting part of that is it hit about when we were in COVID. And so, with all the social distancing rules and regulations, like a lot of people were still at home, but luckily enough, because we were outside and we could provide the space and distancing, we could still have U-Picks. So we would have people out to the farm during COVID, and we'd allow them to do U-Picks when otherwise people were like locked inside. And it was such an amazing thing for the community. And that's literally how we started, is we were like this beacon of joy and hope, and just like it was more hope. It was the hope that things weren't going to stay like this forever. And so people would come out and pick flowers, and then they'd go home and we'd have them take a second jar of flowers to somebody else. So we spread this like joy and hope through the community. So that is actually how we got started. And it just, we've been shifting ever since then into this like amazing company that I've built.
Wait, so let's take a step back. All right.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you started this only 4 years ago?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
hmm
And what did you do before?
I was actually doing architectural contract work from home.
Okay. So
hmm
your own business or just
Yep.
contracting? So you were
Just,
still an entrepreneur.
yeah, still an entrepreneur. I wasn't like running and operating a business per se, but I was doing contract work for other architects. And so, yes, technically a business, running a business, just different.
Just totally different. So are you
Mhm.
doing architect anymore or no?
No, because actually I have been able to shift my business to be full-time florist. And I guess we can go back to your previous question. What do I do?
Yeah.
Um, in my florist business. So we started out as a flower farm. I explained that briefly. Um, and then at the end of that first year, people loved our flowers. They loved my work so much that they actually asked me to continue on as a florist full time. So, and that was kind of our journey into helping to shift and shake up the floristry industry a bit, because there are not very many florists that actually grow their own flowers. And it has been a game changer for us, because not only are we able to make sure that the quality that we are putting into our flower arrangements is top of the line, but we can grow flowers that you can't necessarily buy from the wholesaler. So you're getting more unique and interesting flowers in your arrangement. People have said that our flowers look like nothing they've ever seen before. Part of that is because we let what is growing in the field dictate what we're putting together. And so nature is essentially inspiring our arrangements, and they're unique and they're individualized and they're custom for every single order. I literally will go out and cut flowers, and 24 hours later, they get put into people's arrangements. And so fresh, like far direct from farm to consumer, has been so amazing for us. It's reduced the amount of flowers that we buy from the wholesaler, reducing packaging, reducing transportation costs, and all the things associated with that. So waste, just and we're using I'm able to use almost everything that I grow. So we don't have a whole lot of waste. And then anything that we don't use actually goes to my goats. We have goats on our farm and they eat everything. So we don't necessarily actually throw anything away. So that's been a huge part. And then we do weddings, we do private events, we do daily flower arrangements. We do the whole gamut. We are operating as a full grown florist. The only difference is we actually grow a lot of the flowers. So at the beginning of the summer, I curate all of our flowers, all of our color palettes, and we grow everything without pesticides and organic chemical or and harsh chemicals. A lot of the things we use are more sustainable, so we're helping the environment that way. But we've just created this amazing cycle that is not very common within the floristry industry.
Wow. So I'm sure your flowers last longer than
Mhm.
the average
Yes.
one because
Yeah.
of how you grow them and everything.
Yes. And we know the optimal time to pick them. When we cut them early in the morning, which helps prolong the life of flowers. They go right in buckets of water and they stay there until they go out in our arrangements. And a lot of times with other flowers that are imported, they're without water for it can be several days. So, you can expect the life expectancy of purchased flowers from outside the country to really just not be flourishing from the beginning. So that's the difference.
Wow. So I've done workshops in person recently, and
Mhm.
I've done a workshop virtually to
Oh,
to
cool.
do flower arrangements. And so I know you've spoke about doing workshops. So tell us about your workshops
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
interaction with that. That was like one of the most fun things. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that has been such a driving force of my business and my farm. Like people love, well, especially during COVID, there weren't a lot of places that they could leave their homes to go to and be safe and fulfill all the requirements for distancing. But, when people came out here, they were in nature, it was relaxing, the birds were chirping, you're surrounded by flowers. Like, just, there's so much psychological benefit from flowers, the bright colors, the smells, the textures. Just having flowers in your home has been proven to improve and boost your mood. Like, if they can do that inside, what does being in a field of flowers feel like? It was incredible. And people have said that it was literally the best part of their time during COVID was coming out here and being able to experience some joy and just like being able to relax. And, flowers are so therapeutic. And working with your hands is therapeutic, and being creative and switching brain sides is so therapeutic for your body. So, when you have all of those things combined into a class, people are going to have an amazing time. It's creating core memories, and then they bring friends, and then the friends bring friends, and it just turns into this huge thing. So, we have been really trying to do workshops that inspire people to just tap into those creative modes to help their brain relax and working with their hands and just being around flowers. So we've had a lot of really amazing feedback from our workshops here on the farm. We try and do them in the summer where we use our homegrown, locally grown flowers. That way I know that you're getting a quality flower. And, a couple of years ago we called it the pumpkin spice workshop. And we actually ordered pumpkins from a farmer in southern Colorado, and we created a flower bouquet in these pumpkins. And I'm going to tell you that not only did the people who attended our class love them, like social media loved them so much that it created a new trend. And the next year, there were so many people that were following in our footsteps, they didn't even bother to change the name. So we are inspiring other people, other farmers, other business owners to be creative and think outside the box. And that makes me so happy because I love to be able to share inspiration.
Wow. If social media picked it up, I'm sure you were like, I'm sure Prairie Hill Forum went everywhere.
Yes, we did. We've grown pretty quickly. It's been amazing.
All right. With this very quick
Yeah.
growth that you've had in the 4 years, I know you have small children. What are their ages?
Yes. I have two boys, and my oldest is 11 and my youngest is 8.
Okay. So they were 4 and
Yeah,
eight.
4 and 8 when we started.
So they
About
were
then, yeah.
4 and 8. So through the 4 years, how have you been able to balance the business life and family life? Because it's right there. Everything's
Yes.
right there.
Yes, absolutely. And that has been hard because work is essentially home. And I'm going to tell you, I'm an achiever type. I am not one to like slowly grow my company. I have been all in since day one. I am like that with everything that I do. I am like full force devoted. And so that was really hard for me when I first started my business because I wanted to put so much time and so much energy into my business right from the beginning. And yet I have this family and this life balance that I also need to be working on. So it was a really hard struggle for me, I'm going to be honest. Just trying to make sure, it was an issue, and I really wanted to go into it full bore, and it was mainly a realization from myself and just looking deep down in within myself and just being like, you know what? First of all, I can do all of the things. But in that, there is a balance that has to occur between all the pieces. And it's been a process to try and figure that out. And what I have figured out is that I have come to the realization that my kids are only going to be small for a very short amount of time, and that they mean the world to me. But so does my business. So how do you figure that out so that you're being fulfilled, but you're not feeling overwhelmed by either one? Because if you get off balance, that's when the overwhelm kicks in, and the guilt, mom guilt is real, friends. Like I suffered mom guilt significantly. So just trying to find the balance where I was doing enough in my business to keep it going, to keep it growing, but not over pouring myself into my business so that I still had room for my kids and time and effort and love and energy. Kids take so much energy. And I just found if I was pouring so much energy into my business, I didn't have it for my kids. So I needed to like dial back a little bit. So now what that looks like for me is you have to create give and take. It's a compromise. I can't be taking weddings every weekend like most florists. So I have compromised on 1 to 2 a month. And you know what? That has been amazing because it gives me significant focus for those weddings that I take. And I take only specific weddings. And it has caused me to be more desirable because I'm not doing everyone's weddings. I'm being very selective on whose I take. So that's been amazing for growing my business. Also establishing who my ideal client is. I'm only taking those that are my ideal client. Um, Also, with being a florist, I don't work weekends. Some other florists do, but I've opted not to. And when people call and want a delivery on Saturday, I say, you know what? I would love to, but I have to save some time for my kids. And most people completely understand that because they all have families too. And so then they order Monday or Friday. So it's been a way of like teaching people my availability. And I work 9 to 4, and you shift and move when things are occurring, and it's worked out amazingly. And my kids love being part of my business. They are so proud of me. When we meet people, they're always like, my mom owns a flower farm. Like they're so proud of what I've created, and they love coming out and cutting flowers and helping me in that. And they love being a part of it. So including them has been really cool too.
I think that's one of the coolest things. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
creating that balance, knowing blocking off that time. Don't you agree? And then
Hmm.
say they have an event at school, you just adjust.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So weddings, how do you deal with weddings on the weekend, or do you just do Friday evening weddings?
I take one wedding or 1 to 2 weddings a month, and usually they're on Saturday. And I have gotten so efficient with my process of doing weddings that I start after the kids go to school, I'm done before they get home, and I don't do anything in the evenings. And I just schedule everything out during the week, whether that's prepping vases or ordering flowers, so that I know what days I have to do certain tasks. And, if I have bigger weddings, I'm not afraid to hire freelancers to come help me, because that's part of the deal. You get to ask for help so that you're not running yourself into the ground. And that has been really helpful. I plan accordingly with that. And then usually Saturday midday, I pack up my truck, we do the wedding, and I'm done that evening. Sometimes Sunday morning, there's a little bit of cleanup, but just being so efficient and specific with your time and your scheduling and your tasks, and really keeping on task has been so important in keeping my work life balance balanced.
I love that. I love that. As
Mhm.
much balance as we can get, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And there will be things in there that throw it off, but I have an amazing family. My husband is really wonderful to watch my kids on days that I have weddings, or if I need to go pick up a truck, he'll help me. My parents are also around here and they're awesome at facilitating. So, and I know that not everybody has that, but just not being afraid to ask people to help.
Yeah. Yeah, we've heard from so many people it takes a tribe for
Yes,
our businesses to function,
absolutely.
to have other people help with other things. And we have to be willing to ask,
Absolutely.
just like you
Mhm.
said,
Yeah. Yeah. The lone wolf in owning a business, you will burn yourself out very quickly.
very quickly.
Mhm.
So, with everything that's going on, if you had to choose a superpower for just one day, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. You know what it would be? This is really strange. My superpower would be to sit on the couch and do nothing for an entire day, because I'm such a go-getter that I really have a hard time just sitting and enjoying the moment. And so I'm trying to really work on that with my kids, like making sure I sit down with them and just enjoying the time. Like, I feel like we get so busy filling our schedule with all kinds of things, we can't even just enjoy sitting down and enjoying relaxation and rest. And so that would actually be my superpower, is sitting down for one day, not doing anything, and being completely okay with it.
And vegging, have the kids around, have
Yes.
a movie,
Yes.
have your husband, you know.
Absolutely.
I love that. Get
Yeah.
brought popcorn and coffee or whatever.
Yes. Yes. And read and do whatever I felt like. I think I get into the productivity mode, as a lot of like entrepreneurs do. Like, you know, in our business, we are here to make money is our main focus. Let's be honest. Like, and really just constantly having to be productive, I think it's hard. It's hard to not be in that mode as a business owner, and to just rest and relax and let your brain settle. And it's actually really good for us, and we should do it more.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because we have that to-do list and we
Yes.
just like chump it
Yes.
off. Yeah.
Yes. And as moms, as women, like, we have that constant to-do list. So give yourself the grace and the time to sit down and relax.
So, talking about that as women and what we do, going back, what you've learned so far, going back, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
I think I would tell my 18-year-old self not to be so afraid to do things. Um, I have a tendency to get so up in my head that it paralyzes me a lot of times. The fear of failure, the fear of not doing something right, the fear of just, struggling or whatever, whether it's money, stop being afraid. Just try it. I mean, I am going to tell you, I have failed so many times in my business, and I'm going to tell you those were my biggest growing moments because I learned so much from each failure and I learned to shift. And I think that has been the biggest thing in my business is I have literally been shifting since day one. So after COVID hit, and people were coming out to the gardens. After COVID kind of resided, people weren't as they were getting back to their normal lives, so they couldn't come out as often. And so I was stuck with all these flowers. And when you have flowers, it's a perishable good. You can't sit on it and think about what you're going to do. You have got to move. These flowers have a lifespan of 7 to 14 days. Like they cannot just sit in my cooler. So I started selling small arrangements in the parking lot of Hobby Lobby. And that was part of my shift. And I'm going to tell you, it worked out great until Hobby Lobby got upset that I was selling flowers in their parking lot. They literally kicked me out of their parking lot. Like the manager, the assistant manager all came hauling out their front door and was like, you cannot sell flowers here any longer. And so, like, that was a shift. I had to figure it out what to do next. So we essentially went to online floral arrangements like a typical florist. And that's where that whole thing started. And I'm going to tell you that there are so many people who followed suit after that. There are several flower farmers here in Denver that literally picked up the same model that we started soon after that because now you're selling direct to consumer, whereas before a lot of them were selling bunches to a collective or straight bunches to the public and not actually providing them with an arrangement like a florist would.
Wow. That's amazing. I love the pivoting because you have to. It is a
Yes,
constant shift. Because once you
absolutely.
think you got it going on and it's all going smooth, we have to adjust. Correct?
Yes, absolutely. And I have this amazing business coach. Her name is Faith James. And she said, if you're not making money, you're just doing a really expensive hobby. And so to really like sit down and look at everything that we're doing, the time we're putting into it, the labor, the effort, like, is this really working? And how can we make it better? So constantly shifting. And I think that's what I would, really tell my 18-year-old self. Do not be afraid to change things that aren't working. I think we get so comfortable in the processes that aren't working for us because we are hoping that they would work. Well, they would have worked if already. So stop and shift and keep going and look at it differently.
So when things don't work out, I think we spoke about this a little earlier. What is your philosophy? Because we have the same philosophy about it. So what is your philosophy about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when things don't work out, my philosophy has always been just keep going. And I think that has really proven true to us, especially this year. We planted everything. We plant the entire, like we have about a quarter acre. We plant the entire thing. I grow everything from seed. It goes outside. I plant it outside and it grows. And that's how we grow our flowers. I don't grow in a greenhouse. I grow outdoors. And here in Colorado, that's really tricky. We have crazy weather from May until October. And so this year we had an outbreak of grasshoppers and they literally ate everything in my garden or not in my flower field within 2 weeks of planting. Everything was gone. They literally, like, this was biblical proportion grasshoppers. Like, people have not seen it like this for 30, 50 years out here. They were eating the leaves off the trees. They were eating everything off our shrubs. Like, they ate our lawn. Our lawn was brown in June when it's typically really green, like significant grasshopper devastation. Well, they ate everything that I grew, everything. So I just left. I was so devastated. I just left everything in the field. Well, guess what? I came up with by leaving everything as is and just keep going. I continued to water it. I came up with 5 grasshopper resistant crops that grasshoppers will not eat. I had no idea. And I have been sharing this information with my flower farming community because I don't think people know. And with our weather patterns and the shifts in, pest control or pest devastation, like these are really important things to know because if we know we're going to have a big grasshopper year, here are the crops that you should plant the majority of your field in. And you don't have the devastation and the loss like if you were to plant everything like I did. So that was a huge step. Also, just perseverance. So granted, I couldn't grow my own flowers this year. I could still buy them. So we still continued on. I just purchased flowers. We shifted. And then we just kept going. And then this August, the grasshoppers were gone, like gone completely. And the birds came in and were eating all of the grasshoppers. Well, it allowed me to replant. And I am now I'm harvesting sunflowers again when I didn't think that I would even have a single crop. So just looking through, the seeds and how long their germination date times are and shifting and being like, okay, I have this much time left in my season. This will grow, this will grow, this will bloom for me. And I'm harvesting buckets of sunflowers and using them in our arrangements, which I didn't think I would. So, you know, we are not promised easy lives in this lifetime. We know we will have trouble. It is written that that is the case. So just keep going. And that has been my mantra, like just keep going and see what happens.
Yeah, because everything that happens, we either have to learn from it or
Yes.
or we're being protected.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. Yep.
Period. It's a learning process or a protection process
Yes.
because you just
Yes.
never would know what would happen. I love
Yep.
it. All
Yep.
right. So off the serious stuff.
Yes. I
Your
know. So
favorite.
serious.
No, I love it. I love it. I really want to know the five flowers though.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, what are they?
So the 5 flowers that are grasshopper resistant, and a lot of people don't know these because they're not very common flowers that you see in arrangements that come from the grocery store or from standard florists. So the first one is Lysianthus, which is typically a wedding flower because it's more pricey per stem, so you don't typically get them in other arrangements. In our arrangements, you do because we grow them here. So they look like a rose. They're beautiful. They come in all different colors. So the other one is Status. Status is a dried flower that people typically dry it and use it in dried floral arrangements. Stalk. Stalk is a very common flower. It smells like cloves. And we have noticed that it smells so strongly that the grasshoppers left it alone. And then anything that was on the sides of the stalk, so we had poppies planted, the grasshoppers actually left the stalk or the poppies alone because it was planted next to the stalk, which in gardening terms is called companion planting. A lot of people do that in their vegetable gardens. Um, there was another one, mountain snow, which is a euphorbia. It's part of the poinsettia family. It's not one that you typically find in wholesale floral sales or even stuff you get from the florist because it secretes a sap and sometimes it can like people are allergic to sap from poinsettias. It's the same plant essentially. So you don't see it a lot. So how many is that? One, two, three, four.
That's
And
five.
then the fifth one, was that 5?
No, I had the poppies, but that's not
Okay.
it. That's just
Yeah.
because of the
And
star.
then the fifth one was delphinium. They don't really like delphinium very much. Yep.
That's the only
And
flower I know of.
I know a lot of people don't know about the other ones, but yeah, they really left the delphinium alone. And then some people are saying our sunflowers grew. I don't know if they just left them alone, but we had some wild sunflowers that were left alone. But I know that's kind of questionable, but we know for a fact that those five things, and then anything that's companion planted, bindweed, also they don't eat, which is a weed. We had planted a bunch of bulbs in the ground, and the bindweed ended up covering all the bulbs. Well, the grasshoppers left them alone because it was covered in bindweed. And so once the grasshoppers were gone, all the bulbs sprouted. And so that acted as a protection for some of those things that we planted.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Who would have thought?
Who knew flowers were so
Who
intriguing,
knew?
right?
I know it's been a very interesting process to watch. And then we had some vines growing over arbors, like anything above 4 feet. Grasshoppers won't typically jump up to eat; they're too lazy. So yeah, it's been a very interesting process to watch, and I'm glad we let it go just to kind of see what came out of it. It's been fun.
That is unique. I love that.
Yeah,
All
yeah, it's
right.
been awesome.
Your favorite book?
Oh, my favorite book. Well, right now I'm doing this amazing worthy book study with a bunch of amazing women. And that's how we met, and I'm so grateful by Jamie Kern Lima, right?
Yep.
That has been really amazing to just kind of think about things in a different light. So I've really enjoyed that book. And I know it's a huge bestseller right now. There are a lot of women reading it, and we need it. Women are so powerful, and we do not give ourselves enough credit.
Yeah. And I love the workbook that's associated with it. That's
Yes,
really been the kicker there.
absolutely. The deeper dive for
Mhm.
sure.
All right. Your favorite song to get you up and going?
Yeah, anything with unstoppable in it, just that motivation to keep going to kind of my motto, keep going. And there have been a lot of really amazing artists who have covered Unstoppable, Carrie Underwood, Sia, and The Score. I love anything from The Score. All their songs are so uplifting and powerful, and I love that type of stuff right now.
I love it. I love it. Now, your favorite quote.
My favorite quote is, and I wrote it down to make sure I got it right. Every flower must grow through dirt.
I love that. That's even with the grasshoppers destroying stuff.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
is that's a great quote for you. I love that.
Yes. I love that quote because through it all, you get these amazing, and I think it's so realistic to me because I grow flowers. Like, you start with this teeny tiny seed that we can hardly see sometimes, and you put it in this dirt and it's dry, and they get there and they get these beautiful blooms at the end. So just every flower must grow through dirt.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So, with that being said, I think you have like a giveaway offer for them
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
can get.
absolutely.
And what's the name of it? Because it relates to your quote.
Yes, absolutely. So I wrote a couple of years ago, we were doing a workshop here on the farm, and it was, you know, so many people want to learn how to garden, and they're so frustrated by the process of gardening. And I get the question all the time, like, what do you do? How are you doing this? Like, it is so hard for me. I don't have a green thumb. And really, it isn't that difficult. You just, once again, you get so up in your head. Like, plants literally need three things to grow, and that's it. And as long as they're in balance, just like our life, right? As long as they're in balance, they will grow. If plants can grow in the cracks of concrete, you can grow things. You can grow things. Like, you can do it. You need to like change your mindset, and you can do it. If seriously. So I wrote a book called like the last gardening guide you'll ever need, or the only gardening guide you'll ever need. So if you would like me to send you that information, I would love to share it for you. It has our three things that you need to balance in order to get anything to grow. And this only applies to outdoor stuff. I'm terrible at growing stuff indoors. I overlove my plants indoors. I end up overwatering them. So this is for outdoor gardening. If you go to our website, which is prairiehillflowerco.com, again, prairiehillflowerco.com, and you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's a Contact Us button. If you click on that and put in your information, if you in the comments section, if you just put garden or garden guide, whatever you'd like, I will send you the book that I wrote about how to be a better gardener.
I'm gonna have to get that because I'm one of those that says I do not have a green thumb.
Okay.
My husband will leave it to him. He'll do it.
All right.
I told him I have to hire a landscaper cabana boy if something happens to him because in order to keep everything
Yes.
really with a green
Yes.
thumb and everything. So
Yes.
I
Just to
totally
keep
get
your
it.
stress level down, I think that would be appropriate.
Yeah. So, but if I get your book, I think that I'll be okay.
Yeah, well, it's a start. I'm going to tell you, growing anything is a process. I'm still learning, and I've been growing stuff for a significantly amount of long time, and I learn new things every day. So, and it's all trial and error. It really is. But if you just got to keep going.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to share or talk about today?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything, honestly.
We did. We did.
Yeah.
You were fabulous. So much fun. Loved having
Thank
you.
you.
Loved talking about gardening. And oh my God, guys, if you go to the website, you're just gonna feel like you're just in a dream state, in a total dream world. It's just so gorgeous. You've outdone yourself there. You really have.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I appreciate the time, Angel. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.